What's up, Spartans? Whack4863 in the place to be, and today I've got a video explaining corruption. Corruption is the purple part of my health and stamina bar, which you can see on the screen now. What that means is I cannot heal or have stamina past that purple point. Now, you gain corruption in a lot of different ways in the exiled lands. Probably the most often way is loading into obelisks. You gain corruption the entire time you're standing there. That means during your loading screen and once you've loaded in as well. Now, there is a game mechanic that allows you to mitigate the amount of corruption that you're gaining from that, and we'll get into that later on in the video. Unlike the obelisks, the other way that you could gain corruption is from the undead. Now, this undead white is dealing corruption to me with every blow as well as damage. So that is another way that you could be gaining corruption in the world. There's also weapons that other players could use against you that deal corruption. So if you're in a PvP setting and somebody has a weapon that deals corruption, you could end up getting dealt quite a bit of corruption from that if the battle was to go on for a while. And I'm a PvE player, so I don't know how much corruption that deals and how hard it would be to get away from that, or how big of an issue that really is. Certain areas of the map are riddled with corruption. I am at the arena entrance and I'm just soaking in the corruption, just loving it, bathing in it, whatever. I'm going to run around here for a little while so you can see how much corruption I actually get. But if you're going in here to fight the snake and then fight the undead dragon after it, you probably want some way to cure the corruption that you've gained in between those battles, because the larger battles are definitely difficult as they are, but adding the corruption into the mix really makes them harder, because you then have that much less stamina, that much less health in your pool to survive when fighting those battles. So let's go ahead and get into some of the ways that you can cure corruption. One of the cheapest ways to cure corruption is with dancers. It takes absolutely no resources to cure corruption with dancers. So if you don't have any dancers of your own, here's where you can find dancers. They are in the bar that Conan is standing in, so you can also have a nice friendly chat with him while you're getting your corruption cured if you so want to. But there's 3 dancers in here, and you can see I'm losing corruption there. There's some issue going on because I should be continuously losing corruption while I'm in here, but it's not working. Let's see if we move a little bit closer, if that helps out, or move around, maybe I can get it to come back. Yeah, there it is. So another way is, if you've captured a dancer out in the world, you could simply watch that dancer in the comfort of your own home. Sit back, have a couple of brewskis, sit on your throne, watch your dancers, and the corruption's going to cure. Now you can see one dancer doesn't move the corruption bar very quickly, so my suggestion is multiple dancers. Now, I have not noticed a difference between any of the levels curing corruption faster. So level 1, level 2, level 3, named, it doesn't cure it any faster. But if you can get multiple dancers curing your corruption, get that entertained level up to 10, it should be pretty quick. Another way to cure corruption is with the Heart of a Hero. Now, this is going to completely eliminate your corruption. It's not something like the dancers where it takes time. You eat the heart and your corruption is cured immediately. So that's a really good way to cure your corruption if you have the resources. So let's talk about getting the resources. If we run into the unnamed city, we are looking for this group, or these kind of groups of people, and the guy we want to kill is actually the taller one with the armor there, and they're all seekers, I think is what they're called, but there's a handful of different places around the unnamed city where you can go and get these guys. Now you may say, well, I'm going to gain corruption while I'm in there. Not a big deal. Go in, fight them, get your heart, and go watch your dancers. Or there are actually a few places where you can go and find the heart without gaining any corruption. So I'll have a map up here in a little bit so you can see where they're at. But these are a pretty hard fight. So this isn't something that I recommend you do during your early game or anything like that. But we got a couple of good things. We got a Heart of a Hero legendary armor repair kit. They also drop legendary weapon repair kits. So good place to come and farm, get some multiple resources. So on the map, all the places that have the little table with the bowl, the 3 legs and the bowl on top, that is where you can find those heroes. Last but certainly not least is the 4th perk in survival. That is Antidote of 1, invulnerability to poisons and diseases, strength of detrimental status effects reduced by 20%. Now what that means is that if you're standing in a cloud of corruption, that corruption is going to affect you 20% less. However, what's really cool about this perk in particular is that we actually don't take any corruption from the enemies that would deal corruption. Okay, so the weapon that would deal corruption isn't going to give me corruption. Now, I have not tested this in PvP because I don't play PvP, so I have no idea if this works against enemy players that would have a corrupted weapon, but my guess is the mechanic would be the same, so I would say it probably would work there as well. Additionally, that 4th perk in survival, which you can see I have in this setup here, will allow you to wear the Black Feather Helm, to use Carnage and the Destroyer, and the Blackheart Blades. So as you can see, I currently have the Black Feather Helm on. If you're familiar with this helmet and these weapons, the helmet gives you instantaneous corruption, the weapons give you instantaneous corruption. So I should be gaining that. I'm not gaining that. We're going to run away from the dancer just so you know that she has nothing to do with it whatsoever. But if I didn't have that 4th perk or survival, I would have heavy corruption just from wearing the helmet or just from pulling out one of those weapons, and that's not happening with the 4th perk in survival. So the 4th perk of survival, very, very cool if you want to get away from corruption or stop corruption for the most part. I have no idea if they're going to add more corruption in the future, but my guess is that they will. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did and you have a like in your pocket, please pull it out, whack the like button. Peace.